What is up, everyone? You are checking out the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast. It is your host, the Italian God, and I'm also your current WWE pay-per-view champion, and I will also be your AEW pay-per-view champion come Double or Nothing this May. But you are checking our All Elite Wrestling Dynamite April 20th, 2022 edition, and it was a great episode. And we kick things off with the natural Dustin Rhodes taking on CM Punk. And this was a great match. It was an instant classic. The two shake hands to start. Rhodes jumps at CM Punk, who ducks, and Rhodes falls to the outside. Rhodes is selling his knee, and CM kicks Dustin's legs, and Dustin falls on the apron. Rhodes then drops CM Punk hard on the apron, and then Rhodes nails 10 punches in the corner to CM Punk. Rhodes then also nails a really amazing code red. He gets a 2 count, a power slam, another 2. Punk then applies a figure 4. The two slap one another, but CM Punk is able to grab the ropes. Dustin nails a crossroads and a pile driver and gets a 2 count. Rhodes then goes for a power bomb, but CM Punk is able to roll up Dustin and he gets a 3. Your winner is CM Punk. After the match, Dustin hugs CM Punk and raises his hand. And then the AEW World Heavyweight Champion, Hangman Adam Page, comes out and he stares down CM Punk. So this is a great match, great for Dustin Rhodes, a great way to show that he still has it. He can still kick some ass. I really like this whole CM Punk Open Challenge thing. It's making CM Punk seem very relevant. I'm enjoying his matches more and more. My favorite match still was his against Dax Harwood, but this was probably a close second. I do like the idea of Adam Page versus CM Punk. That would be a good match. And I'm all for CM Punk. What do you guys think? Are you guys Punk fans? And what do you think about Adam Page? Will he be the one to take out CM Punk? Next, Wardlow arrives to the ring, and Mark Sterling has handcuffs that Wardlow has to wear around the building. And Wardlow is escorted backstage by security guards. So now, pretty much Wardlow can only enter the ring on his own. I'm really liking this whole storyline, Wardlow and MJF. The payoff is going to be great. I cannot wait to see what happens. Next, we have a special 6-man tag match. Brock Anderson, Dante Martin, and Lee Moriarty with Iron Anderson taking on the Blackpool Combat Club. And that is a team of Wheeler Yuta, Bryan Danielson, and Jon Moxley with their manager, William Regal, on commentary. John applies a half and half suplex to Brock. And then Brock nails a spine buster to John. And then this is a cool moment. Lee Moriarty nails a springboard elbow to Wheeler Yuta. Dante nails a springboard dive onto Jon Moxley outside. But then the Blackpool Combat Club attack the 3 men with blows to the face area. And then John nails a paradigm shift to Dante Martin. And the Blackpool Combat Club get the clean, concise, clear win. Not a lot going here. Great to see Blackpool Combat Club in action. The other men they were competing were pretty good. Dante Martin and Lee Moriarty are my favorites. Brock Anderson still has some ways to go within that group. But Blackpool Combat Club is where it's at. Next, the Undisputed Elite are backstage, and they're all wearing black. And Red Dragon are basically like, why aren't you guys dressed up in your old attire? You guys just look so cool and great. So Adam Cole says, all your fans are gone, but us. We need you, Young Bucks. Like, we need you together. This is the Undisputed Elite. You know, down the line, eventually Red Dragon and Young Bucks are going to brawl. It looks like the Young Bucks are going to turn babyface again. Who knows? Are you rooting for Bucks or are you rooting for Red Dragon and Undisputed Elite? Let me know. Next, we have Tony Khan, the president of All Elite Wrestling. He comes out with a big announcement, and he introduces the president of New Japan Pro Wrestling. And before Tony can make his announcement, Adam Cole comes on the Titantron. He says, I'm going to make this announcement since I am huge in Japan. Adam Cole says that on June 26th, the All Elite Wrestling pay-per-view Forbidden Door will be taking place, and it will be between New Japan Pro Wrestling and All Elite Wrestling. Jay White then comes out, and White thanks Adam Cole. Jay White says, I sold out Madison Square Garden last time the New Japan Pro Wrestling had a huge event. It's not about New Japan Pro Wrestling, AEW. This is about Undisputed Elite and Bullet Club. It's still our era. So huge news from Tony Khan and Adam Cole. And New Japan Pro Wrestling, All Elite Wrestling, AEW, NJPW going to go head-to-head at Forbidden Door on June 26th, live on pay-per-view. Excited for that huge announcement. Next backstage segment, we see Jade Cargill, Red Velvet, and Kiera Hogan, and Jade basically calls Marina Shafir a bitch as they promote their upcoming match on AEW Rampage for the TBS Championship. Next, we see the Butcher taking on Wardlow. MJF and Sean Spears are in the skybox. MJF says that Wardlow will not have any music to come out to, and he doesn't. The Butcher back suplexes Wardlow onto the apron and nails a power bomb and gets a 1 count. Wardlow nails 3 power bombs and gets the victory. Really nothing happens after this because Wardlow just defeats the Butcher and he just walks off in the handcuffs, and that was pretty much it. Next, we have the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Someone's going to, get into the tournament. This is a qualifying match. The AEW Tag Team Champion Jungle Boy taking on Kyle O'Reilly. So I'll have back and forth action to start. O'Reilly nails an exploder suplex, and Jungle Boy lands a clothesline. Kyle O'Reilly applies a wrist lock on top. Jungle Boy has Kyle in a tree of woe, and he nails a drop kick. O'Reilly applies an ankle lock, and Jungle Boy applies a snare top. Kyle O'Reilly grabs the ropes. O'Reilly with a superplex and a brain buster, and then a flying knee from the top rope to Jungle Boy's back, and Kyle O'Reilly advances into the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. This was a great match between these two men. They showed that they are great singles competitors, and I'm looking forward to seeing Kyle O'Reilly in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. Love Kyle O'Reilly, and Jungle Boy is great as well. We then see a backstage segment with MJF, and he gives Jake the Snake Roberts money, and Lance Archer shows up, slaps the money away, and he says he wants Wardlow. So eventually down the line, we are going to see Wardlow versus Lance Archer. Next, we're seeing Hook's Dynamite debut match. He's taking on Anthony Henry, and we see Tony Nese and Mark Sterling in the audience. Hook applies May suplexes. Danhausen comes down and puts a curse on Hook. And then basically Hook gets the win after the suplexes. Danhausen wants to fight Hook, but Hook just walks away. Hook is amazing. He doesn't need to do much. He just kicks ass. And Danhausen is very funny. I really like him. I think his character is silly, and I'm excited to see what these two are going to do down the line. Next, we get another backstage segment between Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky. They're backstage, and Sky asks Frankie to just wait to fight for the TNT title. Let Scorpio Sky get his shot, and Frankie Kazarian agrees. Now, before we go any further, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to be talking to the TNT World Champion Sammy Guevara comes out. We have the Owen Hart Foundation qualifying match between Danielle Kamela versus Dr. Britt Baker DMD. And we also have our special coffin match, Andrade El Idolo versus Darby Allin. Stay tuned. The Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast family would like you to check out Anchor.
With Anchor, you can record, edit, and publish your own podcast for free.
Distributing your podcasts has never been this easy with Anchor, which allows you to send out your podcast to platforms such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and much, much more.
Get uncensored and download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
Welcome back. Yes, definitely check out anchor.fm. It is the greatest tool to use to create and distribute your podcast for free. Download anchor.fm or search it online. Be sure to check out the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast wherever podcasts are streaming, including Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and wherever podcasts are available. Also, check us out on YouTube. Search the Uncensored Pro Wrestling Podcast. Subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell. Stay notified when new content is created. Okay. Next, we have the TNT World Champion Sammy Guevara comes down to the ring, and he has his girlfriend Tay Conti with him. I hate these two. I know a lot of fans do too. Sammy says he loves Tay and all of us that cheer and support him. As for the rest of us that turn our backs on him, why? Because his girlfriend is harder than ours. That's when Scorpio Sky, Ethan Page, and Dan Lambert come out. And the feeling in this room is screw Sammy. Ethan Page says, no one came here to hear you talk. Dan Lambert then says, you act like a high school douchebag. Give Scorpio Sky a title shot or we'll pound you the way your girl would like it to happen. Lower the statement. Sammy agrees and says, fine, I'll take you on in a ladder match next week. So we know for AEW Dynamite next week, the TNT World Champion Sammy Guevara defending against Scorpio Sky in a ladder match. That will be a great match. We then get a House of Black promo, and they say next week the sun dies. Love the House of Black. Love what they're doing. Interested to see what that means. We then get our own Hart Foundation qualifying match. Danielle Kamela taking on Dr. Britt Baker DMD with two members of the Pittsburgh Steelers. This is Britt Baker's return match because they are live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, her hometown. Britt nails a butterfly suplex and a sling blade. Britt then hits a stomp, and she applies the lockjaw with a Steelers glove, and Danielle taps out quick, and Britt Baker is your winner, and she advances in the Owen Hart Foundation tournament. After the match, Britt Baker grabs the mic, and she goes, you finally have a woman in the ring with a mic who knows how to use it. Britt says, look at who you're left with without DMD, without her. You have Ruby Riott, the runaway. Tony Storm, who will get cake in the face and will want to leave this company too, which is a big dig to her. Jade Cargill. Only people wanting to see Jade in the ring are the baddies and the best are the baddies section. And Britt says, baddies, remember, I'm the baddest bitch on the block. And your future Own Hart Foundation tournament winner. That was a great promo by Britt Baker. Really solidifies her as the woman in AEW. I know Thunder Rosa is the AEW Women's Champion, but to me, Britt Baker is the end-all, be-all. We now come to our main event. It is a special coffin match. Darby Allin taking on Andrade El Idolo. Darby nails Andrade with a skateboard. Mark Quinn and Blade attack Darby. Sting then makes the save, and they all fight in the crowd. We get a really cool moment. Sting, who is 62, jumps off a railing from the crowd and lands onto everyone on the ground in the arena, like right where the fans are. They open up the coffin, and the lid of it is covered in thumbtacks, and Andrade suplexes Darby Allin on the ramp. Andrade then suplexes Darby onto a steel crate. Darby nails a suicide dive, sending Andrade and himself in the coffin. Darby tries to close the lid on Andrade, but Jose, the butler, comes down and tries to attack, but he gets backdropped on the thumbtacks. And then Darby Allin closes the lid with Andrade in it. A sloppy ending to a pretty decent match. Coffin matches are kind of hard because, you got to pretty much incapacitate your opponent. But I did like the idea of thumbtacks being in the coffin. And this was a pretty good match. So this Dynamite wasn't the greatest. I'll give it a 7.5. Next week, we have a lot of good matches. The Owen Hart Foundation qualifier. Dax Harwood taking on his partner. We also FTR. This is going to be epic between these two. We also have the TNT Championship ladder match. The TNT champion Sammy Guevara taking on Scorpio Sky, and much, much more. Thank you for checking us out. Be on the lookout for AEW Rampage and AEW Dynamite. Stay safe, and we'll see you soon.